to another episode of You Haven't Seen That Podcast, or YHST for short. I'm Isaac.
I'm Elva.
And I'm Carlos.
And this is a show where we cover movies and that growing list of films that has people asking us the question, you haven't seen that? Intermission / Oscars edition.
I'm half strep throat, guys. So
That
chill.
made me so depressed right now. If you're new here or you haven't done so already, follow us on social media at
YHST
on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And if you want to support us, please, we welcome it. We can do more things with the podcast if you support us on Venmo at
YHST Pod.
We thank you in advance. Anything and everything matters. It's not only so that Alva can eat or that the cats can eat so that she doesn't have to eat the cats, but it's so that we can, I don't know, evolve the show into something a little bit more fanciful.
Or that we don't have to eat Isaac.
Or that I at least have a home.
No king shaming here. What, are you sleeping out of your car?
Again?
You said you were fine.
Well,
Have you been having to sell eyebrow photos on OnlyFans?
Yeah, but it's not cutting it.
It's only brows, Isaac.
Only breath. Wow. Anyways, okay. So, intermission / Oscars edition. So we are recording this just a few short hours before the actual Oscars on its respective Sunday. The two movies we will be covering, minus any news, is Undertone and Slanted. But because we're getting rid of the news, we do still have our either or segment. So, Carlos, if you want to kick that off.
Of course. And you got it right.
And fuck you. I was joking the last couple times. Okay, the last time, namely. The last one time. I did forget the other times. I will fully admit that.
All right. For this edition of Either Or, my question to both of you is this. Is it an overreaction when people say that video game movies will become more popular than comic book movies in due time?
Who the hell's saying that?
Some chatter online. Although...
what random,
I need names.
deep rabbit hole thing where that's the opinion?
Are you the random chatter online?
No, of course not.
No, I mean, the reason why I have a strong reaction to that is no, absolutely not. First off, I haven't heard that, so it doesn't exist. But when you watch the movie adaptations, and I mean video game adaptations that are movies, not shows, because we talked about it on this pod and other where video game adaptations that turn into series actually end up working because the video games have a very big built-in world that you have time to explore, story and world-wise. Well, you can't do that in a movie. That's so difficult. So, good luck to you, God of War. Is it a movie or series?
It's a series.
Okay, never mind. You're good. Hopefully. But, yeah, who the fuck is saying any of that? I mean, like, flashback to any of the actual movies that we've seen. And I mean, like, even recently, Uncharted, for starters, for fuck's sake.
How about the one that we recently saw not that long ago? The one that we shall never speak of? We saw the video game playthrough.
The silent
and that was,
type?
Yeah.
Fake beard.
Yeah, that one.
So, does that answer your question?
Oh, yeah, like you guys really gave a good, strong reaction to that. That's why I picked it.
What's your take on it? And do we have to kick you out?
So the movie-wise, it's still got a long way to go to catch up with comic book movies. Now, is there potential that maybe eventually? Sure. But again, movies are kind of a lot more tougher versus there has been an increase in quality when it comes to shows. I mean, from Fallout, Last of Us... Yeah, like they are hitting more of a stride when it comes to a show.
Although Halo was whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there's still going to be some duds there. But I heard this question being asked like on other YouTube shows. And yeah, like I also are of the mindset where they still got a long way to go. Because even though there has been a bit of a decline with comic book movies, like whether it's DC or especially Marvel, they still could turn out the occasional good movie. And they still could return back to like their prime stage, like from 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think we've talked about it on here too, where it's like, as far as like comic book movies, Superman looks like it's heading in the correct direction because someone like James Gunn actually gives a shit about it. And Marvel, fumbled the ball, although some people on this podcast are still yet to be convinced that they might be heading in the correct direction. Although after we saw Thunderbolts, that person who shall not be named was like, you know what? I hate to admit it. I actually liked it.
Okay, yeah, well, you know what? How about we start, instead of giving small teaser trailers to announce that another character is going to be there, even after you waited, 3 to 4 hours on a live to see all the cast there? Yeah, I'm gonna be peeved that I don't get a teaser other than like, this person will return. I don't want to know that.
Yeah,
Put
that is
that in
the
the
running
live.
joke.
It does not make sense to me.
My nephew yesterday was like, "Hey, uncle, did you see?" And he's 12 years old. He's like, "Did you see that on YouTube? Marvel has a live stream for the Doomsday Countdown."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, it's just a clock." I go, "What? That just seems like a waste." He's like, "Yep, for the next 9 months."
Well, they're doing
What the fuck?
They're basically copying what they did with Oppenheimer. They also had like that countdown teaser.
Did they really?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Well, the teaser, sure, but like a live stream?
Yeah, it was a continual live
Wow.
stream on Universal Pictures'
They're really swinging, aren't
YouTube
they?
channel. So it would replay the teaser trailer, but the countdown would be in real time. So
And that's where I'm like, do we really need a live going for 9 months? And whoever, I had the whole thing yesterday, but like, do we need it that much that you have to copy another entity that's doing that? Like, I understand like making, the fans wait a whole day to see the whole cast. That's amazing, because I'm getting tired of having like, this is your lead, and every week is like a different person being thrown out there. But you want to hide some people? Go right ahead, because you're trying to get people in the seats. So here's your main people. And I'm talking like, you want to get people who aren't into comic books but have watched these movies and like the characters because of the movies, then save those little surprises for the movies and don't ruin it for everyone else.
Fair point. There you go.
yeah, nicely said.
Right on. All right. So let's move it along, because it is going to be like a big episode when we're covering the Oscars on the second half. All right. So snack size, bite size, spoiler free reviews on these two movies, Undertone and Slanted. And if you're new here, this is our little way to let you know if you should see the movie or not. And then you can pause it there. You go watch the movies. You come back where we delve into it a little more. Again, it's going to be a shorter episode as far as talking about the movies because of the second half of the Oscars. It's such a big thing. Put music here. So Carlos, want to kick it off with Slanted?
Yeah, well, if you want to see Mean Girls mixed with the substance,
Delete all the things I wrote there.
with satire mixed in,
Yeah.
this was actually a pretty interesting watch. I'll put it that way. It's got like some interesting themes that it wanted to comment on when it comes to your own identity from from your heritage, trying to assimilate to whatever country you're in now, which in this case in America, quote unquote.
How do you feel about that? Because you're actually like Hispanic, but you identify as Middle Eastern.
God damn. It's only because of the eyebrows, which on a side note,
I can't control him all the time.
and yet I'm only allowed an accent quota, and he could say that.
Have you noticed? Have you noticed though? He never does like an Armenian. He's never like, "Hey, bro," because it's so on the nose.
Oh my God.
Continue.
Well, to try to answer your question, I actually went through a little bit of a phase like that. I mean, I'll delve into that a bit more when we break down the movie a bit. But yeah, like I actually kind of related to a few things with the main character, but overall, I liked it fine. It's an interesting take on that topic.
Did you want to jump in on that?
Oh no, I'm good. I am saving my voice and sniffles.
Okay. So then my little spoiler free review on Undertone is, the advertisements are like, it's the scariest movie ever. It's a scary movie. I'm going to give it that. It's not the scariest movie, but I did vastly enjoy it for a small budgeted movie, which we'll get into in our breakdown. It's a very tiny budget. Did you look into it, the budget?
No, I didn't actually.
It's tiny. And this just goes to show you what you can do with something small. It doesn't matter. And it is, to steal your words, Carlos, I'm going to give you credit on it, that this movie has such a creepy ambiance. It's more of like a psychological, supernatural thriller. It doesn't lean on any tropes, and it's refreshing. Like, this is what I want horror films to be. Now, did it have those big, super scary moments? Yeah, kind of, sort of, not really, but it still made you feel completely uneasy because it subverted those sort of scary expectations and immersed you in what is like the audio. It's, they're listening to audio, they're doing a podcast and whatever. So this is very meta, and it immerses you with those sort of like tools, if you will. I had so much fun with it, and I want people to see this little film and learn what it did correctly and put it to a bigger budget and make great horror films. So there you go. There it is. So that's our little bite-sized spoiler-free reviews. Pause it there, watch the movies, come back, and now let's dig into them. Let's start off with Undertone. Only because Alva didn't get a chance to see this. Unfortunately, she's with us here.
I am here.
Not in spirit this time. This is actually her.
So
prove that it's you.
It's me, and they're holding me hostage.
and out of respect for Alva, I will not replicate her. I'm gonna just stop it there.
Because she said it. She called you out in the last spot.
Yeah.
What was it? Just Carlos, just don't.
Just don't.
She came down with syphilis, so she's recovering from that. She's totally fine. It's okay.
That's your diagnosis. Don't rub that on me.
And that's how you got it in the first place. No, strep.
I got strep throat.
Yeah.
So the day that we were all supposed to go see this, I was in no shape to go see this movie. So it was guys' night. So they will tell you what it is about. So if they say it's scary, it's only on boy scary, not girl scary. So there's a difference.
I want you to see it. So hopefully you can get a chance to see it and let us know what you thought about it.
To see whether if it's justified or we're just being total wusses.
No, definitely. Yeah. I'll go. You know what? I'll make sure that I go this week.
Please do.
I don't have anything to do certain days, so I'll probably go this week. I'll do a night showing, and then I'll let you see if I had to hold someone's random stranger's hand.
Yeah.
Or not.
You want to give us the synopsis on it?
Sure. Give me one.
And as you're looking up the synopsis, so the budget was $500,000.
For lunch money.
That's more than a shoestring budget. I know we talked about like Markiplier's $3 million budget. Mind you, his Iron Lung had a lot of CGI and visual effects.
Yeah.
This is so smart to just like take place in basically 2 rooms. And it's like watching, if you guys know of like radio plays, this back in the day, you wouldn't have television and you would listen to people act out these things with, Foley and stuff like that. And this feels like that. There's a podcast I listen to every Sunday called the No Sleep Podcast. Shout out No Sleep. And it feels like a version of that. Although the podcast that they're doing isn't radio plays. It's like they cover supernatural things where one person's a skeptic and the other is a believer.
The host of a popular paranormal podcast becomes haunted by terrifying recordings mysteriously sent her way.
I love how cheerful you said that. And then she got murdered and slain by the scary demons.
Well, I mean, come on. I watch a lot of murder and a lot of paranormal podcasts and all this other stuff. Like this is how just girls watch things and stuff. Okay. Also, you guys said this is a 500,000.
Yeah.
I'll see if it's good because Good Boy is at 70,000 for budget.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Even I've still yet to see it, but like, wow, even lower budget than that.
Yeah. I will, if we're just going to quickly compare those 2 movies. So $70,000 budget for a Good Boy. And if you focus anything like on cinematography, you can kind of see sort of the lesser budget of that. I can see where the $500,000 totally went to making this movie look good, even though it took place in one house in 2 rooms, and on, I'm nerdy about it, but like lighting equipment and the sound design is so fucking immaculate in this movie. And whether the director had, and this is the director's first feature film, by the way, whether the director had an idea of how the camera was going to move within the scenes, or you have to hire a person that has that eye to capture that. It's you can see where that money was well spent.
Yeah, this was directed by Ian Tucson, who is tapped to direct like the new Paranormal Activity movie, which after watching that makes sense. I mean, again, we'll go into like, what worked. But so yeah, like it definitely does play on the fear of like when you're either home alone or no one else is awake, just you. And there's a lot of shots where we see our main character, Evie, just sitting there. That covers half the frame, and the other half of the frame is seeing all the other rooms in the house, pitch black. And it did play on that fear for me as a kid, where when I was home alone, when my parents were at work and I'm home from school, and I kind of wondered, like, was there something in the other room just lingering there, or just like standing there, like, like watching me? So this movie does focus a lot on audio. Like there's a lot of emphasis on audio.
It also reminded me of being a kid where you go into like your aunts and uncles' houses or whatever, and they have like that flower wallpaper.
Yeah.
Too many fucking crucifixes.
Those are my favorite.
But that sort of feel where it's like it's supposed to be homely or homey or whatever, and it just comes off as kind of creepy with like too many weird ceramic
With
things.
the precious moments, ceramics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, how Isaac was describing it, because I pointed it out when we had our out of the theater talk, just like, you know, like what we dug about this movie. It's a slow burn, definitely. It doesn't like jump into like the scares or anything like that. Very atmospheric. It is taking its time building up that sense of dread as time goes on, when our character kind of like notices things or like starts to kind of like hear things, or you as the audience may see some things in the dark and you're like, what the fuck was that? And it was very reminiscent of like The Shining, Midsommar, and Hereditary. I'm not saying it's up there to that level, but like there were some elements where it's like in the dark, like you see something.
This is A24 though, right?
This was by A24. So like it definitely fits in there.
The two movies for me that it totally felt like the best of those both worlds was one you named it, Hereditary, because of like the shadows. Did you see anything in the background? Yeah. And also at times where you think there's something, but there actually isn't anything. I did proverbially like peek through my fingers.
Yeah.
Because I was scared of what might jump out.
So,
but sorry, the second one though, psychological horror. The Others, 2001's 2001's The Others with Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, they're the ghosts. But, you know, it's all the psychological, and how it's shot is so fucking smart and creepy as all hell. So this movie combined both of those things to make for a substantial movie.
I have not seen the others, so we shall add that to the list.
I'm down.
Oh yeah, like I've only seen pieces of it when I was a kid, but I was always like too creeped out to watch it. But now like I'll watch it with you guys. What I was gonna say was, so like how Isaac was pointing out, he was kind of peeking through his fingers. So yeah, like I was getting creeped out. Where the thing I do when I watch a horror film, and it is kind of getting to me, is where I kind of do this thing where like I have my hand over my mouth.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in a way to make me feel safe, even though it's not like I'm covering my eyes. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure like you were noticing, like I have like my left hand like this. And then I was noticing you were doing something similar with your arm.
I was actually picking my nose, but I was actually, when I was hiding from the movie, I was squinting my eyes really tight so I could barely see anything in case anything jumps out. I loved it. I haven't been scared in a movie in a while.
Like this was a very creepy movie. Now, I will say that this movie, it's not the fault of the movie. This is more like a studio advertisement thing. Anytime, like, because now especially from the last few years, when you do see that advertisement tag saying, oh, it's the scariest movie, you know, that you'll ever hear or watch like for this year, I hate that, because now you're setting up this movie for failure. Because look what happened with Longlegs.
About to say,
yeah. And I mean, like, it wasn't a bad movie, but it's like you kind of overhyped it too much. So I like when I do see that being advertised, I try to avoid like reading anything about this movie, because you definitely watch this movie on its own merit. Don't go in thinking like, oh, it's the scariest thing you'll ever watch, because that ruins it for people. Yeah.
And then lastly, what I'll say about this, because we want to move on to the next thing, and Alva hasn't seen this movie, so I don't want to completely spoil it or anything like that. But what I will say is, where certain scary movies might focus on with the first and second act on like building up the creepiness and stuff like that, they sometimes inevitably feel like they have to then battle the demon or battle the bad thing in some big I'm looking at you, The Conjuring, Last Rites, you know, and have to have some fucking Dragon Ball Z level battle at the very end. This thankfully didn't do that. You know what I mean? Now, did it have some amazing ending? Leave that up to your judgment. But what I am very happy with is that they didn't ruin, the ending wasn't bad, where it didn't ruin the rest of the movie. Was it strong? It was a safe landing. That's all I'm going to say, is that it was a safe landing, and I will commend it for it, and made it a pretty good watch. So
definitely,
Alva, you go see it and you let us know what you thought about it. Let's move on to what?
I said, yep.
Yeah, let's move on to then a relatively controversial film called Slanted, that I'm not joking. I thought it was called Slant Eyes.
Yeah, and I kept ragging on you. I'm like, slanted, slant eye.
Alva, synopsis, please.
An insecure Chinese American teenager undergoes experimental surgery to appear white, hoping to secure the prom queen title and peer acceptance. Dun, dun, dun.
I was like, wait, was there a dramatic punch to that?
Carlos, you said it earlier, and what I had actually fully read now was it was Mean Girls meets The Substance meets Everything Everywhere All at Once with the dash of white chicks all inspired and mixed into the lens of Black Mirror.
In a way, yeah. Basically, yeah.
You're like, you got it.
I do quite agree with that assessment.
I mean, earlier you were, you had sort of talked on or touched on that. It was trying to kind of comment on culture, right? And
identity and all that.
My only problem with it was, by the way, first off, whenever there's like a high school movie, I kind of cringe at high school stuff. And I go like,
Right.
oh, I hate the dynamic of like cringe teenagers and shit like that.
Yeah, like the popular Mean Girl and all that.
And that's where the whole Mean Girls thing falls in, just not as fun or funny as, the actual beloved Mean Girls. But once it moves past that and into our sort of sci-fi portion of it, then it gets really interesting. But, the overall like idea of it, or rather the overall motivation of our lead character, they establish it as if, she wants to be a prom queen, right? That's her sort of goal as like shown in the poster. But then I get the idea. I think Alva had said it over breakfast this morning, as far as like, when you don't have representation, then you might think that you need to be a certain type of person in order to actually acquire that,
acceptance.
But like, for instance, I forget the comedian, and if somebody knows this quote, but a comedian, either in a podcast or some other interview, had said, when I was growing up, I thought you had to be Jewish to be a comedian.
Oh, really?
Which is a weird take, but this is similar to that, where so this character thinks she needs to be blonde haired, blue eyed in order to be a prom queen to get to her goal. So it's a lot of like being ashamed of your culture at some points, which was where the Everything Everywhere All at Once kind of falls into place. And it feels like it pulls from some of those things, but there's so many different like motivations with like The Substance that it's pulling from, with, beauty. And I think that's what you're saying, acceptance, and Everything Everywhere All at Once, where you're embarrassed about your culture, that it at times for me gets a little bit it feels like it gets confused as far as the motivation.
So I guess you could say, like, with our character having like that identity crisis, this movie had a little bit of that. So I want to touch on the
brevity is not my vocabulary.
Not trying to sound all fancy.
No, that's great.
I graduated from high school. Okay.
I'm sorry. I graduated from high school.
So I wanted to touch on your question that you asked earlier, like for me being first generation Mexican American. So what I was referring to, kind of, I related a little bit to our main character, reminded me of myself when I was a kid. So growing up, my first language I ever learned was Spanish. And then eventually I learned English by the time I started going to school. But around my time in elementary school, I was kind of almost doing what our main character, Joan, was doing, where, no, we're in America. Like, we need to eat American food. Why do we need to eat like Mexican food? So I'm sharing a little bit about my past here, which, yes, I don't know why I kind of went through like that shameful phase where it's like, no, like, we're here. We need to be like everyone else. And it got to a point where I stopped speaking Spanish for 10 years.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So in a way, I was getting whitewashed.
Yeah.
So by the time I got to high school, though, like, I grew out of that phase, and I'm like, why was I like that? It's because I don't know if it was just seeing like what on TV or movies, like, oh, this is how Americans are supposed to be like, even if you're from or your family's from another country. Now, our main character herself wasn't born in America. She was born from China. And
but she was like 10 years old.
So she was kind of being in awe and aspiring to like be like all the other kids in the high school she'd eventually attend.
Because who wants to stand out?
Yeah. So again, like, when I got to high school, I grew out of that phase. I started speaking Spanish again, although like to this day, like, there are times like I do struggle a little bit, but like I speak it well enough to like talk to people whenever.
Hell, just these last 2 weeks, I've started learning Spanish from Duolingo, not a sponsor.
So yeah, like, that was what kind of resonated with me, is that it just reminded me of myself, how I went through that phase. But yes, I'm very proud of my heritage. I'm very proud, like, like my parents coming here and, working very hard and everything.
But I get what you're saying too. So my first language wasn't Spanish. My dad did come over from Mexico. My mom was born here, but her parents came over from Mexico, and our culture wasn't so integral or integrated into like our upbringing. And so we didn't learn Spanish. And so we are all whitewashed completely until, throughout our childhood, and that we sort of learned about it here and there, but it wasn't so much like, oh, here's the traditions of our Mexican heritage, and oh, it's Day of the Dead, let's go do those things. We didn't do any of that. You know what I mean? So when I hear other Mexicans talk about their culture and like, oh yeah, my grandma used to teach us this and do all that, I'm like, we were completely whitewashed. So it just felt for me like natural, like, oh, this is okay. I get it now. And I never understood my dad, who had a really heavy accent, and unfortunately just never learned Spanish because it also wasn't like pushed on us, as opposed to like our character here in Slanted, where her parents predominantly speak Mandarin. I think her dad speaks a little bit of English, and at times but unlike when I was growing up, I wasn't like ashamed of my culture. It just wasn't so like, it wasn't just so present in our lives. But it is in her life, and she's really ashamed of it, as she comes up into being a teenager and stuff. And it gets a little sad in that respect.
I think I relate to that character a little bit more, because it kind of did remind me of my home dynamic, where at home it was only Spanish that we spoke. So when my dad would work and there was mail that would come in or phone calls that we hadn't made, I had to be the one making them because I spoke English. So it kind of reminded me of that dynamic where the mom only spoke Mandarin and the dad spoke some English, but, mostly Mandarin. Yeah. So there was those moments where I could relate, but I would only relate it to like certain aspects of it. I would never speak to my parents in English because they'd be like, no, because they forced me to do Spanish. But I see where the similarities are there.
Do you feel like this movie accomplished saying that message?
I think in a way it did, but I think where it can get lost in translation is with how other people are going to perceive it and their thought of it, especially if you don't come up from a background like that, or the only ones that you do know are friends, but you never really grew up with them, or your grandparents, the grandparents of people who may be seeing this movie. They were probably there, but because now they're just older, it may not hit them a certain way, or maybe the appreciation isn't going to be there. But from my point of view, it was like, okay, I get it, especially with the whole high school thing and the whole having to fit in and everything like that. That was also like something that was there. My
last thoughts about the movie. Ultimately, I feel like it had the potential of being an important film in that regard, exactly what you said. But because it was at times feels like it was trying to be inspired by all of the aforementioned things, is where I think it lost some of that, the strength in that message. And I feel like a rewrite, tightening some of those things up would have helped it. Although McKenna Grace did a good job, playing it.
Yeah, I mean, a
white Asian American.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
No, you go. Oh no, I was going to go. No, you go. No, please. I'll go. No. Right, on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
So I just think no, you go.
Okay. So I agree. I'm on the same sentiment that I think it did get some messages pretty good that I think it'll resonate with certain audiences. But yeah, I think itself, how I commented, like it had a little bit of identity crisis. It tried to add too much. Nothing wrong with it, taking inspiration from other movies. But yeah, I feel like another pass on the script just to tighten it up would have really hit hard. Like it would have slapped more.
That being said, I still recommend it.
Yeah.
Either for its sci-fi aspect. Don't go so much on like the message, although it's there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's heavily there, but even with the prosthetics of everything, I really enjoyed how certain facial things that they were doing, it was gradual. It wasn't like, and now that.
Yeah, like I did like some of the body horror aspects where it was just like gradual.
And then as far as the tone of the movie, it's an absurdity. It's an absurd movie. Yeah. So expect some like kind of outlandish cartoony things. I wish I'd looked at the lyrics to it's great to be white.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. I don't mind a movie's leaning on that, but you do have to suspend your disbelief and just lean in on the absurdity.
Definitely.
You want to put a number on these things?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
With excitement. Okay, White Cheese Tea gets fresh every other episode. Alva, Carlos, and I alternate on giving the Rotten Tomato critic and audience score, as well as giving our personal ratings on the aforementioned movies, in this case, Slanted and Undertone. From 0 to 100, 59 and below being rotten, 16 and above being fresh. Alva will have us guess, me and Carlos, on the movies. I'm pretty good at that.
All right. I'm going to go with Isaac. What do you give Undertone?
Undertone, I'm going to give it, I did hear about what sort of the score was, but I forgot exactly the number. But me personally, I'm giving it an 85%. I think critics are giving it an 80%, and that audience is a 75%.
For me, personal, solid 83%. Critics, I'll say 85. Audiences, same as you, 75%.
Okay. Critics at a 75.
Okay.
Okay.
Audience at a 52.
Whoa.
So is this boy scary or girl scary?
No, I think a quick commentary. I think that what people expect as far as horror films is something that like the ending needs to justify everything that happened. And that's where it loses a lot of people. Horror films are real specific like that. Yeah. Almost like a punchline. You need to have a good punchline. I can see where they might have felt that way, but fuck you people. It's a fun movie.
Okay. Slanted.
I'll give it a 75%. Critics 80 and audiences 72.
I'm actually going to give this one a 65%. Just so many things I felt wrong with it. I think critics are going to give it a 60, barely fresh, and audiences might have leaned in on either the body horror or the message at a 70%.
Okay. Critics at a 68. Audience, there's no score.
What?
That's interesting. Really?
Yeah. Fewer than 50 verified ratings.
Oh.
So it didn't really.
So no one saw it.
No. So there's like no score to be produced.
I will say the audience we watched it with did react, I think, almost similar to us, like where the absurd moments.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting. That's a first. No audience score.
Yeah, we had to remind us to.
We'll check back
update.
next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. There's our scores. And now our little Oscar pre-production. So let's just like quickly run through these. I know there's so many other categories, but we're going to focus on Best Picture, Director, Actor, Actress, and Screenplay.
Yes.
All right. So we'll start with me, and we'll just go round table. With Best Picture, I think that. So I was trying to prep this as I was doing it. Where the fuck is it?
Shame on you.
Sinners. I think Sinners is going to take it. It's a record-breaking nominations of 16 nominations.
Yeah.
I think it's going to take Best Picture. Carlos?
I'm also going to give it to Sinners. That movie, I'll admit to this. It was a close call between that or one battle after another. But I felt like Sinners kind of hit me just a tad more. But yeah, I think it's got a pretty good solid chance of winning.
I think one battle after another. I love Sinners and there's nothing against it, but I'm thinking more Academy-wise, how they would think.
True.
And from me watching all these award shows, whether it be music or anything like that, especially if there's a performance in there, it's rare for you to perform and win Best Picture or Best Artist of the Year or something, because that just doesn't happen.
Solid point.
All right, so let's move on to Director. Best Director. Carlos?
I'm going to go with Ryan Coogler. I think what he accomplished as a director, having to deal with the technical aspects of like shooting an IMAX, like switching the frame size, the ratio aspect, I'm sorry. And then just the directing alone with Michael B. Jordan playing the twin characters, the way it was so seamless. I mean, that's got to be challenging.
I'm going to go with PTA on this one. I think I just seen more things. So that's more of a personal choice. But I do love what Coogler did with getting the rights and everything. Like, more power to him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's going to go for exactly what you said, Carlos, with what Ryan Coogler did with Sinners. And when you hear someone like that in interviews talk about the technical aspects of it, he not only appreciates all the things, but is able to then do them almost seamlessly. You know, how do you organize some of that shit? It's such an amazing and powerful movie. So, I mean, director's got to go to Sinners for me. And now we move on to lead actor.
I will give this one to Leo. I'm just picking one battle after another, as you guys can tell. I think also with Leo, I think it's just something from seeing him from like childhood to now. I don't know. I think his performance stuck more with me. I did like Michael B. Jordan's. I'm not gonna lie.
Cue the
But I don't know. I just felt like it was a little bit more. How about you guys?
Yeah, for me, for lead actor, I think it's gonna be Michael B.
Okay.
I mean, he embodied two roles. I mean, sure, it could have not have been twins, and it could have just been two different characters played by two different people. But whatever, like that was written, and he fucking nailed it. He knocked it out of the park.
Oh, yeah. Same thing, Michael B. Jordan. Again, I almost went with Leo as well, because to Leo's credit, has a lot of range. He's played vastly different characters. So he was like my runner-up choice. But with Michael B. Jordan, I'll even add to that, not just playing twins, but then also playing another version of the twin when they become a vampire.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, again, like I've always loved Michael B. Jordan since I first saw him in Chronicle.
Okay.
It's like a found footage movie.
That movie does not get enough credit.
It does not. And he was like the highlight for me.
Yeah.
And just seeing how he's gone from that to this, like he really is talented. Like he's got a bright career ahead of him. Leo, again, he's a real heavy hitter. Like how much more can he like really wow us, you know? And he keeps proving us.
And second to last for best actress,
Jessie Buckley.
Yeah, man.
I mean, after you guys like really pushed me to watch Hamnet, I was
Please talk about that a little bit.
So I finally watched it. It was streaming on Peacock, and okay, home from work, time to watch this. After I finished watching it, I text you guys. I'm like, damn you guys for making me watch this. I was so wrecked by the end of it.
Emotionally obliterated.
And oh my God, Jessie Buckley. This was I saw The Bride before watching this.
Yeah.
And again, unrecognizable. I would not have known that was her, which that was a great performance, but this really showed range. And wow. I mean, again, just the ending portion of it, seeing Hamlet being played out, I was like, no wonder why people are raving about her. Like, she's going to win.
I think with her performance in The Bride, because I've only seen her in the two things, and Hamnet, anything else she's going to be cast in, I'm watching it.
I got a fun fact. She did The Bride first and then Hamnet.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she showed up on set to like, or not set, but like into talks and everything, into production with blonde hair, blonde eyebrows. And in the interview that I saw, she's like, yeah, somehow, you know, we had to figure out the eyebrows. And of course, the hair is easier to fix, but like the eyebrows were the main thing. But we did it. And I love that her performance in Hamnet, it just hits this chord with you that makes, even if you're on medication that can numb you from any feeling, it can still make you feel and cry. Like it breaks that whole thing. Like, forget the medication, you just fucking cry.
I don't even think you're doing Hamnet justice by saying just break and cry. Like the word that I always pops in my head if ever anyone was like, how was Hamnet? I'm like, oh, you think you cried at like The Notebook? Or you think you cried at like Titanic?
It's devastating.
Absolute devastation. You're just done.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Jessie Buckley all around?
Yeah, this
easily.
is unanimous.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Also, I have to comment. You said she did what first?
The Bride.
So you're doing The Bride first, and then you're jumping into something like Hamnet. Like, even, okay, doesn't matter which one you're doing first. As an actor, it's such range. If you're doing The Bride first and then Hamnet, how are you losing that such crazy character and then doing something a little bit more subdued in Hamnet, and vice versa? Like, how are you doing something so emotional like in Hamnet if you're then going to go do something like The Bride? Either way, what a fucking amazing actress. She does the work and it shows.
Yeah, I'm glad I watched both of these movies in close proximity. And again, she did not disappoint.
All right. And lastly, best screenplay. Alva, what do you think it goes to?
Sinners.
Well, now we have her on our side.
She joined the bandwagon.
Because we're going for original.
True, yeah.
Yeah, so Sinners.
You see, you're looking at me directly, like so defiantly. I'm like, relax, dude.
She's like, okay, I finally agree with you guys on this.
No, I mean, I could go with all the other I could go with Sentimental Value or Marty Supreme. It's just another accident or Blue Moon, but I've only seen 3 out of those 5, and Sinners just hits you more, and it stays with you a little bit longer, even to the point where it's been almost like a whole year since we watched Sinners, and it's still such a hot topic. And I wish that I can rewatch the movie again, but with like new eyes, like a new perspective and everything. But I would rewatch that movie though.
Then Sinners.
So when you asked the questions like best screenplay, I wasn't sure if it was adapted or original. So I actually picked. I'm gonna give a special shout out to adapted, but first original Sinners. Yes, again, Elva put it best. Like it just hits you. It really just hit you. And I remember walking out of the IMAX theater, and I was like, wow, like what a movie. And then again, special shout out for best adapted screenplay. So I almost went with Frankenstein. I mean, we really raved about Frankenstein when we saw it, but after watching Hamnet, I ended up picking that as best adapted screenplay.
Same.
Correct.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, so that I answered for both of both screenplay
Totally
nominations.
Fair. And go ahead and go to our social media at.
Why Jesse Pod? But wait, did Isaac give out his?
Yeah, I said Sinners.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I was like sinners all around us. Huzzah! So yeah, go to our social media at
Why Chelsea Pod
on Instagram and TikTok, not on YouTube, where we do have our full predictions. You have our full ballot, including like all the animated stuff and all the other little subcategories. So you can see all 3 of our predictions, and we'll see exactly what we get right. But we're gonna cut here, and we're gonna come back shortly, and it'll for you in the future it'll just be a beat. But for us, we're gonna go ahead and watch the Oscars, come back and tell you what the actual results were, and talk a little bit more on the movies that we finally got around to seeing that we may or may not have actually done an episode on, which we'll try to keep that nice and sweet and short. Might be a little bit of a long episode, totally fine. We'll see how it goes. I'm editing it, so fuck you guys. Alrighty, so we'll see you in a few. Sound effect here. And we're back.
Dun, dun, dun.
That was a great award show. That was like legitimately a really fun award show. Any highlights, any standouts for you guys?
Conan O'Brien, great host.
Dude, they joked at the very end that he wins the host for life, and although it was a joke that it was like in the frame of one battle after another, I would legitimately love for him to be like the forever host. Because
definitely,
you want somebody that's like good at comedy and just being a presenter and in front of people and rolling with the punches and shit like that, and the jokes that he writes or how he's delivering them as far as like within the realm of a roast, just knocks it out of the park. All right, so let's go over our main top 5 winners, which is Best Picture, Director, Best Actor, Best Actress, and Screenplay. Who won those?
Out of those, I got 3 of them.
I got 3 as well.
4.
You know what? I know because so me and Carlos were on the Sinners train, right? And Sinners won a handful of them. I don't remember exactly how many. What, 4?
They won 6. No, they won 4. Sorry.
But man, by the way, Alva's a very humble person. So when one battle after another won and whatever, I think it won for Best Picture and Director. And I was like, I fucking told you guys. I'm like, what are we, a sports game?
She just like darted at us.
She grabbed the cat, she spiked it like a football.
No, it just proves the whole theory of like, if you are going to be performing in an award show, you don't win the big prize. Mm-hmm. And that's what it was. Even though Sinners did perform and won 4 awards, it still showed that the Best Picture, the biggest award.
Okay.
Yeah. So, well, I'll just say this, for this year's Academy Awards, Elva is the Oscar queen since she got, Best Picture and then Best Director.
As far as those top 5,
yes,
but you want to talk about tallying up all of the nominations? Right here, your king of the Oscars. I won at 15 correct guesses.
You only got 2 more than I did.
14 correct guesses.
You only got 1 more than I did.
Yeah, a win is a win. You never had your predictions.
And that is
you thought you had your predictions. You never had your predictions.
And the only thing is, the only one that I didn't pick was Michael B. Jordan because I was very half and half with Leo and Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, man. Well, I will be reminded to tell Michael B. Jordan that when we see him on the red carpet next
Sure.
year, because YHST is going to Hollywood.
No, we're
Yes,
not.
they clearly invited
You're
us. They've been
super
listening to the
negative
show.
right now. Dear God. No, we're not. We're staying in our apartment. What are you saying, Carlos?
No, I was just gonna like add like to what I was saying. It's like, man, I can't handle being around all those people, man. This is like too much.
What's anything that stood out for you guys as far as I don't know, winners or anything?
Not winners, but the performance of Sinners. I was really hoping they would do that scene where it's just like everyone in the barn. In the,
Yeah.
The juke joint.
Yeah, where they're just, and then bring out everyone. And the fact
Chills.
that, yeah,
Oh yeah.
chills. That, and then the K-pop Demon Hunters, the choreographer who did a little bit of the dancing was Mandy Moore, not singer, actor Mandy Moore, but, you know, she also did La La Land. And she does a lot of like entertainment and stuff. La La Land, Taylor Swift, like the whole Eras tour and everything, music videos and all these things for other artists and stuff. So she's like very busy. Even Disneyland Parade, she does that. Yeah.
Oh.
So I was kind of happy to see her choreography on stage, especially with K-pop Demon Hunters, which also won for the song, which is amazing because that's like the first time a K-pop song won.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there was a moment like when the nominees are for like best original song, and you're like, well, I don't know. I'm like, dude, K-pop Demon. I think also for like the best animated feature, it's like K-pop Demon Hunters. It was a cultural phenomena where everyone else was like, dude, I know it's like an animated thing, and it seems like the target audience may not be for it. Turned out to be an amazing fucking movie. It took over the entire world. You couldn't stop hearing it on the radio. Yes, we still listen to the radio. It was just everywhere. So I'm happy for them. And I love when the people that win are just like they actually do feel they feel humbled. Unlike Adrian Brody, who's just like, I have a 2-hour long speech, which they did joke on. In case you didn't actually watch, in case you you had other things to do for 4 hours on a Sunday evening. The jokes that landed were so good.
Definitely. Also, best casting being the first time being given an award.
Dude, not only did they give that recognition, but they give that extended recognition where I think the lead actresses on each of those the nominations were presenting each nominee
I think
for
it was
casting.
Supporting.
Yeah.
Supporting.
Yeah. I thought that was fucking awesome.
Yeah, not bad for that category, having its initial run. So I mean, it's cool that they're recognizing like other important roles, because like without good casting directors, of course you wouldn't have your nominees. So I'm still waiting for I think they did announce that they were going to do like a stuntman kind of recognition.
Yeah, when's that happening?
I think that's next year.
Yeah, because it does take like the process to add these categories. They do take a while.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see that.
And also, what is it? The first woman to get cinematography.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That is amazing. Was it Autumn Durlad? I can't pronounce the last name.
Hold on, let me look it up. And the winner goes to Autumn Durald Arcapa.
One battle after another and Sinners free.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm
Yeah, I
sorry,
thought
sir.
you
He said
muted
muted
your
your
stuff.
devices.
That
My
means
apologies. Edit point.
Yeah, no, there's a couple of firsts. Again, just like for Sinners having so many nominations, but essentially what getting beat out by one battle after another. And again, I said it before in case I didn't say it on this particular episode that it is a very unique year for the Oscars, where all of these movies, whether in Best Pictures and whatever, all the nominations are like worth seeing, and we've seen the majority of them. I know we had to play a little bit of catch up on some of the movies this past week or so. I think Carlos had the most to catch up
I
on.
think Carlos watched majority of them.
Yeah, there's like a couple I missed out on, which I know I'll eventually watch them. But yeah, there was like one day where I watched four of the nominees, so that was quite a homework assignment. And I gotta say that Warner Brothers really walked away big, because I mean, one battle after another and Sinners, I mean, again, even though one battle after another won Best Picture, Sinners still won some pretty good awards. So yeah, they definitely killed it at the Oscars.
Also, the big like Netflix taking some of the awards too for Frankenstein.
That's
Yeah.
right, yeah.
It's kind of like a little like, hey, so you didn't want to accept our offer kind of thing. Could have been us.
Exactly.
Joint team. What did Paramount win? Absolutely nothing.
In general, as far as the actual winners, I know like we were kind of going back and forth on some of these other ones, and where like when I sat a little longer as they're like showing some of the clips, I go, yeah, that other one's gonna fucking take it. But there were some that were pretty much obvious, and the only one that I think all of us were like, fuck yeah, was Jessie Buckley winning for Hamnet.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I wanted that for her so badly. I want all of the opportunities for her, just how amazing she was in her roles. I think I had said it in the previous segment with The Bride and with Hamnet. It's just stunning, beyond stunning.
And also sound going to F1. That's like an Apple TV Plus. Like
Yeah.
that's,
Oh, yeah.
I think their first time with Apple TV
I think
that they
so.
produce something.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Lewis Hamilton got the award there after he placed third on podium.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I love the shout out for Lewis Hamilton, but they're not going to mention congrats on taking podium. Fucking
They don't-
whatever.
Okay.
I'm still learning some F1 stuff here. So
Podium is when you place,
1, 2,
1,
3.
2, 3. Yeah,
Oh,
that's when you're
okay.
like, cool, awesome. But yeah, no, I mean, overall, there was, I think it was a pretty much, for the most part, like entertaining award show. I hope that like this shows anyone who's making movies now for next year, or rather the next Oscars, that make a fucking movie of substance with a message that you can do that doesn't have to technically essentially be, this heavy blockbuster film, and it doesn't have to be so art house style like with fucking Honora or whatever. Well, I'm a fan of that movie. But that it could be an amazing looking, feeling, sounding movie. I mean, what an assortment of so if you're listening to this, if you haven't listened to past episodes where we covered some of these movies, do yourself a favor, go to our Instagram at
Why Trusty Pod.
and our TikTok, where we will post the actual winners, and do yourself a favor and add those to your own YHST list and get around to watching those, because they're amazing movies. I know I didn't see any like the short films. I know I still do want to watch some of the other ones like Secret Agent. The only one we actually caught up on was Sentimental Value, and it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, I think we still have like 2 on the list that we didn't see. No, but I actually want to talk about the fact that this year's award winners were all based on people. The ones who voted are ones who've seen all the movies in the categories.
yeah, because I know that was becoming a problem the last few years, where Academy members were admitting that, you know what, yeah, we do get sent the screeners, like, like just to see the ones for consideration, and we haven't even watched them all, and we still voted for them, and that was becoming a huge problem.
And then, so this year is the first year where it's everyone who was voting on these actually watched them. So it
love it.
felt more like, oh yeah, no, you know what? I did see that. Of course that one won. It was more of a variety, but of course there's still, you got your lump sum of certain movies winning all these awards, but it wasn't as before, like last year with Amelia Perez, like Best Picture, and that one that could have been different. Actually, that one should have been different.
Yeah, they probably saw that. They're like, oh, that seems pretty progressive. A trans drug dealer. We'll vote for that. And then you watch it and it's a crap movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like for horror fans, there were a few victories for the genre. I mean, Amy Madigan winning Best Supporting Actress. I mean,
She's probably my second favorite speech.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, like a lot of people knew that she was going to win for that. And then for Sinners, while it's also like it's part crime, it's not fully horror, but it has horror aspects, and still winning like Best Actor, cinematography, and a few of the other technical stuff, and Ludwig Göransson winning another Oscar. I mean, dude, like, talk about talent. Like, I just love his scores more and more. I mean, I think he won for Oppenheimer a couple years back, and then also like for Black Panther. So I mean,
Oh, nice.
yeah. But the other nominees, like, they were pretty good. Like Max Richter for Hamnet.
Dude.
Like,
Yeah.
that would have been like my second choice if Sinners wasn't a nominee. I mean, his music is effective.
If Sinners was not on there, I'm pretty sure he would have taken that song in Hamnet.
Yeah.
Was it something daylight or something. Oh, dude, anytime I hear it, I'm just like, I'm back in this movie, and then there I
On
go.
the nature of daylight.
They're on the nature of daylight. Anytime I'm just like, this is it. I'm sinking into the dark place now. Okay, bye.
Oh, I thought that was gonna be your bleed out spot song.
And I've heard that score played
Probably.
in 2 other movies, in Shutter Island and Arrival. And then like hearing it again in Hamnet, I'm like, this was like the best use of that score in that movie.
You know what? That would be my bleed out song.
It's beautiful.
Best animated film. I mean, again, K-pop Demon Hunters being the juggernaut it is, we all pretty much. There's like a few categories that all 3 of us did agree on. So that being included, best visual effects. I mean, we knew Avatar would get it, or the way I wrote it in my notes, Avatar Fire and Ass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that exists on your X Hamster.
I think that's the only one where I didn't vote Avatar, even though it was like right in your face. I'm like, you know what, Avatar, you wasted my time. I'm not going to give you my one vote.
Wasted your time.
I did not like Avatar as much.
Let the adults talk for a second. So here's the thing, right? And I get annoyed when people are like, "I didn't like the movie." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's about this specific technical aspect of it. No matter, for instance, like what is it called, The Lost Bus or whatever it was, still a visual effects amazing movie. You have to give it credit on that regards." And so when it comes to Avatar, although the story was sort of lackluster, the visual effects are like, leagues into the future, and it's something you can't even blink at. It's one of those things that, you had voted for F1 as far as visual effects, and if Avatar 3 didn't exist, I'd give it to you, F1. But then it's like, hold my beers, and then here comes Avatar, this juggernaut of visual effects. I mean, James Cameron never ceases to blow anyone out of the water.
Yeah, I
when he's
think
doing a
all
film.
3 Avatar movies have won.
Yeah, and they have to. I mean, yes, the stories are whatever. But dear Lord, I mean, I'm wearing a Corridor Digital hat right now, and they did go down the nominations for the visual effects, and they still get giddy about talking about Avatar. And it's a lot of like technical stuff that some of the jargon I don't even know. But as they're talking about it, and they have the I think like the director of Weta Effects, and he's discussing it, and that dude's like, "Oh no, yeah, I was also part of Industrial Lights Magic, ILM for you laymen, which is a lot of Steven Spielberg stuff, and they helped create the tools and the computer code and programs that helped our current visual effects be what they are." You have that guy who is a juggernaut by himself, so of course Avatar is going to win.
Yeah, and overall, like the acceptance speeches were very humbled, classy.
Yeah.
Again,
People getting played off.
Yeah, which that's gonna happen every year.
Yeah.
But and I do appreciate that Adrian Brody was a real good sport about them making a joke of his speech being long last year.
Yeah.
So there was that. But my favorite reaction to who won the Oscar was Michael B. Jordan's reaction, like just seeing how he sat there in disbelief, like
Stunned.
he was so
Eyes
stunned.
widened. His mom just like grabbing him.
It was like, no, like this is happening. Like
Yeah.
they called out your name.
Like, what are you doing? Get up.
That's wonderful. Those are those people where you can tell that they really are putting in that hard work and aren't, they're not necessarily, they're humble where they're not expecting the win. They're just happy to have worked on said project and that this is just a bonus, And so like that, him, Jesse Buckley, Amy Madigan, and even PTA. I know PTA has, I don't know if he's won stuff in the past, but he's a big name in the movie making business, but still like, it's the way that they handle it in their speeches and how they convey their gratitude in such concise and heartfelt ways where I'm like, I'd even ask you guys a couple times, I go, they didn't read that off of a little note card. Like that was
Quite a few of them spoke from the heart.
amazing.
Especially PTA with his speeches just like rolled, and I'm just like, all right, cool.
And even like how I noticed like the first Oscar he won, like the way he was fidgeting with the actual statue. I'm like, I think that was just him trying to process the win and just trying to like speak to what was in the heart. The only one that didn't, we're not really mentioning is Sean Penn. Yes, he won, well deserved, but he was absent. So what was it, Kieran Culkin even like joked like, oh, like, he's not here.
Or didn't want to be.
Or doesn't want to be.
But I'll accept it for him.
Can we talk about the tie for, was it best live action short film? You have Singers and the two people exchanging saliva.
Yeah.
I was not expecting a tie.
That makes it the 7th tie in the Academy history.
Interesting. I
Very
like
rare
that.
occurrence.
Yeah, I like that. Okay.
And now that we're running a little low on time, unless anyone has anything else to say,
No,
No.
overall, great ceremony.
this Oscar award would not have been what it was without Grogu making an appearance. So shout out Baby Yoda.
Bonus shout out.
All right, so let's go and wrap it up. It's been a long episode. Thank you guys for joining us. And again, if you didn't watch the Oscars and you're curious who the nominations were or the winners were rather, and you don't want to go to any other place, visit us on social media at
Chesty Pod.
on Instagram and TikTok. And again, if you want to support us, do that on Venmo at
Chesty Pod.
Thank you guys. And please, if you're new here or if you haven't done so already, when you follow us on those platforms, make sure to hit the notification bells to let you know when our episodes are dropping or to let you know when we're actually dropping our video snack size reviews or news or anything else. And if in case you don't know, our episodes do drop at 11 p.m. on every Wednesday so that you're ready to know what to see for the upcoming weekend. Cool. All right.
Cool.
All right. Well, let us know what movies are in your growing list of films that has people asking you the question. You haven't seen that?
Okay, bye.
Later.
We're playing you off.
No, I'm still talking.
Nope. Sorry.
Gotta wrap it up.
Still goes out to my mom.
Rap.